Hey everybody, we are back with a new episode of .life, Dorchester's only hyper-local podcast with news, commentary, and analysis. I cannot wait for Game 3 tonight of the Stanley Cup quarterfinal playoffs with the Boston Bruins, the Buffalo Sabres. I think it's pretty obvious what side I'm on. We are tied up at 1 for the series, and it's a great series. If you're not watching it, you're crazy. It's got fighting, it's got speed, it's got offense, it's got goaltending. It's an amazing series. Hasn't been playing hockey in Buffalo in 15 years, so I am really excited, and hopefully you're catching that series too, but I'm not here, I kind of am, but I shouldn't be here to shill the Sabres. I'm here to talk about this week's episode. We had an awesome conversation with Leon Bethune, who is the Community Initiative Bureau Director at the the Boston Public Health Commission, and he got us ready for spring cleaning, right? It's finally spring-ish most days. Some days it feels like spring. And we're all cleaning out our homes and our apartments. And as you're doing so, he's going to help you identify potential problems that you might find and how you can help remedy those, whether you're an owner, a renter, a business owner, a neighbor. So definitely worth staying tuned for that conversation. We've got our friends from the Dorchester Reporter coming by to talk about this week's headlines. And we're wrapping up the Tiny Dot concert this week with Flash Lato. He is a phenomenally talented hip-hop artist. He's originally from Dorchester, and he's got a new album out, so make sure you tune in. All right, let's get into it, and go Sabres. Hey folks, it's Lifetime, and guess who I'm here with? Our good friend Bill Forry. Hey, Bill.
Thanks for having me back, Erin.
It's always my pleasure. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Appreciate you wearing your Sabres jersey, so I don't have to forget that we're going to have to talk about that for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. How many minutes do you want to do on the Sabres Bruins?
I'd like to do just Sabres Bruins today.
Wow, everybody just dropped the call right there.
Hey, at least they're playing the Bruins and not some random team that I'm making you talk about anyway.
True, but I have to point out that you are rooting for the Sabres, of course, because you're from Buffalo. And yeah, I'm rooting for the Bruins, of course. I'm not, as people know, if they're frequent listeners, I'm not the source to come to on Bruins news or anything. But I watched the games and I enjoyed watching the Bruins win Game 2 in Buffalo. So
I didn't love that one so much, to be honest. But Game 1, the epic comeback where we scored 4 goals in like 9 minutes. And
and you
game.
blew up all the group thread went crazy and
nobody responded.
Nobody
to me.
responded to
I
you.
found that weird.
Yeah, I think we exhausted ourselves in the first 2 periods where things were going so well. Game 2 though was kind of the it actually got a little dicey there at the end of the third period.
Chippy. Yeah.
It was chippy and the Sabres did score 2 goals late.
Well, I do have my Rob Ray jersey on, who's my favorite player, who's known for his not only chippiness, but his fighting. There's actually a Rob Ray rule in hockey about fighting. So I don't mind the chippiness.
He signed your jersey, I noticed.
Signed my jersey.
That's pretty impressive. When did you get that done?
I was home. Remember when I went back to Buffalo? I went to the game.
Yeah.
I tracked him down. He broadcasts now, and he was between the benches, and I threw my jersey over the glass, and he signed it. Yeah.
Did he get into a fight while he was doing it?
He didn't look very happy with me. Yeah. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
I almost got punched.
Now, you're going to go to one of the games that's here at the Garden, right?
Going Sunday.
Exciting.
Game 4, which I was hoping would be a Sabres sweep, but it will not because we are now tied at 1.
Not a chance. But that's one series, and then I'm, as you can tell, more interested in the Celtics outcomes. They're playing tonight against Philly.
Basketball?
Yeah, it's the round ball, orange-looking thing. That's the other sport in town that's happening.
I'm happy if they're winning. That's good.
They are winning. They did not win Game 2, but they're playing in Philly tonight, Game 3, and so our listeners and viewers will know more than we do at the moment when they're watching this. But I'm optimistic the Celtics are the favorite in this series, and they should take care of Philly in probably 6.
I mean, the same holds true for the Sabres Bruins. They're definitely the favored team. They're definitely the more skilled team, the bigger team, the better team. They just, I don't know. They don't have a lot of playoff experience. It's been 15 years.
It has been a while. I noticed the energy during the Buffalo's home games was off the charts. And
frenetic,
yeah.
Unhinged. You realize those Sabres have not been in the playoffs since I've lived in Boston.
Wow. So you must feel a little guilt over that.
I don't know how to do this.
Well, you may have to just go to some more home games back home and see if you can help them out.
Well, I will be there loud and proud on Sunday, and let's go Celtics.
Do you feel like you're going to be, in good company? I mean, do the Sabres travel well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. especially to like Toronto, Montreal, like those.
Yeah.
You know, as you know, we are very Canadian people.
I noticed that it's a lot of Labatt's in the crowd watching on TV, and they even sang the national anthem for the Canadians, which
Every
was nice
single
of them.
game. Yep.
I don't really have a problem with that. I just found it like I was taken aback. I was like, wait, which of these teams is Canadian? I couldn't figure that out. Neither of them are, obviously, but like you've said, there's lots of Canadian players on both squads, on all the squads in hockey.
Yeah.
So,
and
that's fine.
we have a bridge in Buffalo that connects to Canada. So like it's so close, and a lot of the lower southern Ontario residents are actually Bills and Sabres fans.
Makes sense.
We embrace the mafia as large.
Yeah, it is. A lot of folding tables in Jeopardy that way.
Did you see they have a dummy dressed up like Pasternak and they were throwing spaghetti at it?
That's not very nice.
It's so dumb.
I think that might have explained some of his aggression the other night. He was in the middle of a lot of the
feisty.
scraps.
Yeah.
It's a bloody third period, a lot of penalty box time, and but it was fun to watch. Got to
See
say,
how
for a
tonight
Bruins
goes.
fan perspective, it was great.
Well, with that, we're going to move into the news.
Okay.
So we've got several things to talk about today. We've got a new fire commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
Got news from the MBTA. Some more development updates, new business, and we're going to talk about the marathon because Monday was Marathon Monday.
It was.
Yeah.
All those things. So it's a packed lineup. But you want
Yeah.
to start with the pride of Dorchester, as
Yes.
we call them on the headlines today. He called himself a proud son of Dorchester. We're talking about Rodney Marshall, who's the new Boston Fire Commissioner, or will be soon. He actually hasn't been sworn in as of right this moment, but
Okay.
he was announced as the next in line, and he is, in addition to being from Dorchester and a 35-year veteran of the Boston Fire Department and a graduate of Boston College, by the way, he is also the city's first black fire commissioner.
That's awesome.
Which wasn't really heralded at the announcement or
Yeah.
even in like the press release that we saw. But it's a notable thing.
It is.
Especially for a department that for many decades was really not diverse in
Kinda known
almost
for
any
that.
ways, and certainly in the leadership ranks. So it's a significant moment. I thought, though, that it was interesting. The rank and he's very popular, clearly,
Is he?
with the rank and file across the board. The Firefighters Union immediately put out a very glowing statement supporting this decision. And that's not always the case. Like sometimes when, past fire commissioners have come in from other cities sometimes, famously there was tension, quite a bit of tension between the Menino administration and the fire department, union strife and sort of, contract things. And those still can get tense. But
Yeah.
at this moment, clearly there's quite a bit of goodwill for this decision and for the existing commissioner, Paul Burke, who's outgoing now. He served, I think, a 4-year term here.
Is he retiring or just not commissioner?
He's retiring and
Okay.
he's moving on. And really, the Commissioner Marshall, soon to be Commissioner Marshall, has been his deputy chief, and
Okay.
he's been in leadership already. He's well liked. I mentioned, his career began in East Boston, Engine 56. He really literally climbed the ladder,
Nice.
step by step through all the ranks, and became a lieutenant in 1998. He's been a deputy chief since 2022.
Okay.
And he's also been instrumental in setting up what is now the cadet program that the city has to deliberately, try to recruit more, city kids into the fire department ranks. One thing that about the fire department traditionally has been heavily recruiting from military service, and this program is intended not necessarily to skip that cohort, but to try to be more intentional about bringing in high school or late high school, as people graduating high school, bring them right into the fire department, and improve diversity within the ranks. So
Yeah.
he has been credited with really pioneering that program.
Do you know what part of Dorchester he's from?
He's from the Grove Hall area, and
Okay.
and the actual press conference last week was held at the Boys and Girls Club that's on Talbot Ave.
Oh, perfect.
The Berkshire Boys and Girls Club, and his kids go there. He has youngins. He's I think he's like 56 or so, 57, and
Okay.
he and his wife have younger children who are members of the club.
Cool.
Yeah.
My whole street is firefighters, so shout out to Eddie and Mark and Tommy.
We have our share of members of 718 who are, and of course we're home to Florian Hall.
Right.
Dorchester definitely has like a fire proud fire brigade connection that is alive and well, and this is the latest example of it.
Yeah, and it's good to see it first. That's awesome.
Yes.
Let's move on. Red line service.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago I had a headline in the Reporter that was heralding how they got done early with the latest project and the disruptions were over for now, and now it's not going to last much longer, I'm afraid. There's going to be a 4-day total shutdown of the Ashmont leg from May 14th through the 18th. Red line service between Broadway and Ashmont will be totally suspended, and shuttle buses will be back.
Everybody's favorite, the shuttles.
It's just, it's not our favorite at
Nobody's
all.
favorite, not the drivers, not the riders. It's awful.
No, it sucks. And listen, to their credit, the T figured out in the last sort of shutdown they did, it wasn't a shutdown, but like a diversion, that they did nighttime work. There were delays, but they were able to keep the shuttle buses off the road.
Yeah.
This particular project, they have no choice, apparently. They don't like doing the shuttle buses either.
I'm sure. And it's got to cost a fortune.
It does cost. It tends to cost millions of dollars because they got to bring in those like Yankee coach bus lines. And nobody's happy about it, but it's happening.
I'll be in the UK, so.
So you're kind of ambivalent about it, apparently. For the rest of us, even if we're not redliners, and I'm not on the T that much myself, candidly, but everybody gets impacted when shuttle buses are snarling the roads. This week, by the way, has been great because it's April vacation week, and
there's no traffic.
The
have
school
you noticed?
bus, I have noticed. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you noticed too.
I got here in like 10 minutes today. I was like, what is going on?
No real problems moving around the neighborhood this week, but they'll be back next week. And when the shuttle buses are on the road, those will hurt. Again, that's going to be May 14th through the 18th, and that's going to also include the Mattapan line. So there'll be shuttle buses along that, the Mattapan trolley. Yep. There's also going to be some shutdowns intermittently on the Quincy side of things, the Braintree leg.
Okay.
And, so they're actually telling people to consider using the Fairmount line during those periods. Not a bad idea if you haven't used it before and you're, it's accessible for you. Fairmount line is a good option.
You got a real shout out in the last episode that you talked about the Fairmount line. Do you remember that?
No.
One of our viewers was like, yes, the Fairmount line.
Oh yeah. We were talking about, hey, why are we doing a whole bus thing on Blue Hill Avenue when we could just let's enhance the Fairmount?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that clip, and shout out to that viewer. It's there. It can be used, and this is a good opportunity. If you haven't used it, go check it out. I wouldn't recommend waiting till June when all the World Cup fans will be in town, and they're all taking the Fairmount line down to Foxborough. That's going to be a busy and an expensive week or two going to Gillette.
Also, that's Dorchfest, so the masses will be thronging their way to Dorchester.
We should have a big crowd this year for Dorchfest. I feel it coming. The buzz is already out there. I know you and others are working hard to get the bands lined up and the porches and everything else. But I think we're due for a really good weather year, and that's going to make the big difference.
Just please don't shut down the red line June 6th.
No,
please.
There's not a chance. No way. That's a big weekend. It's also Pride.
It's Pride
weekend,
this year,
and it's Dorchester Day and Dorchfest, so a lot going on. That's the 6th and 7th. Yeah.
Pride hopefully will only be conflicting this one year. But we'll
it's too bad because everybody loves doing both if you can, and it's usually the weekend after Dot Day.
Or 2 even. It's later in June, Anyway, so we'll cope with those shutdowns. You've got another kind of Lower Mills area project of development project that we wanted to talk about. This one's been around for a bit, apparently?
It's been around in a different iteration.
This is your hood.
This is my hood. This is literally at the end of my street, so full disclosure, thank you for making sure I do all my journalistic disclosures here. This is a project that, if it's approved and goes forward, would happen on Washington Street.
Okay.
There's a block, if you think of Lower Mills Village and the business district, like Bowery and Lower Mills Tavern and those properties, where they back up, the block behind them is where this would go.
Okay.
So there's
where CVS is?
No, CVS is on the other side of Richmond Street. This is on the side that this would be on Washington Street and going back towards Dorchester Ave.
Okay.
There is quite a bit of space there that's not used right now. There's a couple of vacant properties that have been sitting there for more than 10 years now.
Homes, residential properties?
One of them is commercial. It's actually a former funeral home. It was called the Malloy Funeral Home. It was in business for most of the 20th century.
Okay.
And then shuttered early early aughts, basically. And there was a plan about 10 years ago that this same development team, they're called City Development.
City Point Development.
City Point Development, thank you. And I think they're based in Newton. Their team proposed at the time a 4-story, 54 unit property. And it didn't happen for a few reasons. I think the Civic Association and others, abutters and stuff in the neighborhood, weren't thrilled with the density on the traffic plan.
10 years ago, you said?
Roughly 10 years ago,
Okay.
when this first plan surfaced. And the other issue they didn't like is the existing properties on that stretch. And we're talking about 1180 to 1184 or 1188 Washington Street. Those properties would have to come down.
Okay.
And there is some historic significance to at least one of them. The Landmarks Commission is reviewing it, and
Okay.
it's been an issue raised before. I have to say that stretch of Washington Street does have kind of a historic flair. This property across the street from it used to be called Richmond Hall, is still there. It was there in the 1840s, and we know that because Abraham Lincoln visited and attended a
What?
meeting
Really?
there in 1848, I believe.
That's very cool.
So, like, that's the kind of old school,
Yeah.
and of course, it's part of the Lower Mills district where, you know, the Baker chocolate and, you know, just that kind of whole vibe there definitely has a unique character.
Yeah.
So there's been some concern about what this might be. So the latest plan that was kind of revealed last week and then this week was the subject in part of a Lower Mills Civic Association meeting is a change up a little bit because they're going to try to keep those properties intact, those buildings that are there now,
Okay.
and then add a new building, which
Similar to the Minot Street plan, right? Like
It's a little
keeping
bit.
that like one building and then building around it.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. That is true. It's an attempt to preserve the existing and then add what would be a 57-unit condo building with 4 stories.
Okay.
I was at the Lower Mill Civic meeting on Tuesday. It was not well received, I have to say. Like there were a couple of people who were part of the executive board there who've been through 10 years now of sort of going back and forth with this development team, and I think they're happier with this plan because they're
Okay.
keeping the buildings preserved. But nobody seemed very happy about the idea of the density.
Yeah.
And I know there's folks out there saying, "Why not? Like, what? You know, there's a YIMBY element in Dorchester that has good points, and they should be heard
Yeah.
on this." They weren't really in the room on Tuesday, I have to
Okay.
say. And you know, the fact is, the direct abutters are really concerned about, you know, this building that
Is
will
it the
now
height that
tower.
they're-
They're
yeah.
worried about the height. They're worried about, you know, it's 59 units total, I believe. But, you know, there'll be 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, so that you're talking maybe a couple hundred people
Yeah.
living on that space where now there's like 2 or something. You know, like that's a big jump. And
And of course, traffic and parking and all those things.
the
yeah.
traffic was the thing that most people raised as
Yeah.
red flags, saying like,
It's already kind of tight down there.
well, that's one thing I can attest to, living
Yeah.
a block away from it is like, at some points in the day, you just can't move through those intersections.
Yeah.
And some of that is because Boston and Milton don't coordinate very well on
Yep.
traffic.
I
And
used to have to commute. Remember when I worked at Steel and Rye, and I was
Yeah,
going from Dorchester
yeah.
to the other side of like just the other side on Elliott Street, and sometimes it would take me like 15, 20 minutes to get
Yeah.
through there, and I was like,
Steel and Rye is great, by the way, but
Yeah.
it's tough congestion-wise, and adding that size. And let's keep in mind too, and the other thing about Lower Mills at the moment, any day now the Kearney development plan will drop, and that could be
man.
anywhere from 300 to 500 units of housing, in addition to a new health facility, hopefully.
right.
So just the congestion that could come from multiple developments coming into the pipeline at the same time,
Yep.
I think is on people's minds too. But they did not take a vote on Tuesday
Okay.
night about that project. They did decide to kind of let's continue talking. The team, the City Point Development, has not yet filed this with the Boston Planning Department.
Okay.
And but they probably will in the
Yeah.
near future. I do think the project has merit, and will eventually, with some concessions here and there, probably move ahead. We do need the housing. We just,
Sure,
I think
yeah.
people in Lower Mills have some reasonable points about especially traffic, and how to manage that better.
The facade kind of reminds me of, is it the schoolhouse ones right there on River Street?
Yeah,
that
that's
very
true.
Similar. Yeah, which fits the area nicely.
That building was another example of preserving some existing and incorporating new structures around it. So that's, in my view, that's a good way to do preservation right in the city, where we have to build more than we have, and we have limited space. But it's nice to be able to preserve buildings that are historic in nature when we can.
You see that a lot with like churches, because as churches have less population, they convert them to condos, but keep like the nice, beautiful facade. It's kind of a
love a nice church, love a nice barn. Wherever these things exist, carriage houses, being able to convert them into livable space is a win-win.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll keep our eye on that, and hopefully we'll hear something about Kearney soon.
Yeah, I do think we're going to hear about Kearney very soon. And, Lower Mill Civic, and one more note about that, just briefly, and there may be a transition happening there. The longtime Civic Association president at this meeting on Tuesday announced he's stepping down.
Oh, really?
And there will be new candidates for leadership there. There's a bit of uncertainty about who that's going to be.
Linda.
Oh, man, no way. I think she served her duty, although, we do go to the meetings and try to participate and certainly report on it.
Yeah.
But, there is a need for more, maybe some new blood to come in and help. And there's a lot coming. Kearney specifically, that could take a year or more of engagement and planning. And we've already had, months of that leading up to this plan. So we should have some news about that very soon.
It is concerning that all of this is happening, and there isn't a lot of thought to traffic flow and mass transit options being expanded. Like, there is no rail really down there. I guess.
Well, you can walk to Ashmont from the Kearney site, pretty easily.
The trolley goes.
The trolley is an option too, and I personally think it's better than in Neponset. Neponset really is kind of
that's true.
Transit, starved in some ways. Even the bus lines aren't ideal.
Right.
People in Lower Mills can walk to the trolley, walk to Ashmont. So I think we're actually better poised than some parts.
Is Ashmont really close enough to walk to from your house? Is it?
Yeah, we could walk there. I mean, I would walk to the trolley rather than Ashmont, but folks who are at the Kearney development might be better off.
That's true.
They just got to cross Galvin Boulevard, so be careful doing that.
Yeah, that's it. Take your life in your hands. All right, let's move on. I have been walking my dog in what's that park by the Neponset that the Greenway goes through?
There's Pope John Paul II Park, and then there's one that they call Neponset 2, which is by Granite Ave.
Yeah. And I noticed a congregation of folks over by the CrossFit, and I was like, why would anybody be hanging out at CrossFit? Turns out there's coffee over there.
There is a new coffee. It's a mobile van that it's a recent development. This is just within the last 3 weeks. But because we're lucky enough to have Cassidy McNeely on our team at the Reporter, and she's plugged in very much to whatever's going on coffee-wise in the neighborhood. She's on it. She learned quickly about this new pop-up, which is called Espresso East. And it's run by two sisters, young women who are originally from Kenya.
Nice.
And they are Najma and Naima Mohammed.
Okay.
They started this cafe, and really they're leaning into their East African roots with the kind of drinks they're doing and the flavors and everything.
Kenya blend is, love Kenyan coffee.
Yeah. They started this project. Originally they were over in Quincy at a beach area, and they didn't, either their permit expired or they didn't get renewed, but they couldn't stay there. They've only been doing this for a few months.
Okay.
And they were looking for a place. And I guess one of the members at CrossFit 617, which is there on Hilltop Street, right next to the Neponset Greenway, went to the owner and said, hey, these young ladies are terrific. Their coffee's amazing. They'd sampled it in Quincy and said they're looking for a new home. They put out an appeal on Instagram and said, hey, anybody know where we can go next?
Yeah.
And Peter Needham, who owns the gym, the 617 Fitness, reached out and offered them to come over and try it out. And it's been a big success.
That's amazing, because it's on Hilltop, but it's not it's not facing Hilltop. It's behind the building, so it's on the trail side.
Which is perfect. It's looking out at the river.
Yep.
It's looking out at the Greenway Trail, and people who are walking by, running by, bicycling by, many of them with dogs in tow or children, baby carriages. are intrigued and pop by.
And you can walk up. It's just like a window.
Exactly.
Awesome.
It's like a food cart, and it's like a trailer that's been converted into a cafe stand. They do have some seating there. They actually have a what do they call that? Container,
container,
like a shipping container that's been converted into a space there next to the gym, and they have a little roof deck on it, and you can sit up there, have your coffee or whatever.
When it's like 60s right now. I just can't wait to go out and sit on those. The last couple of days haven't really been intriguing for sitting outside. But
no, Cassidy went on a warmer day, and it was beautiful, and there was a line of people.
I bet.
With children and definitely canines in tow, and they get their own little dog treats too that they have there.
Oh,
so
they sell flower bouquets? Am I saying
they
that?
had some flower bouquets the day she went as a thank you to their customers. So
wow.
they had somebody bring a whole bunch of flowers that they gave out, and it's going well. They do plan. The Muhammad sisters have told us that they do plan to stay. They're going to actually do something along the lines of a grand opening soon. I think in early May.
Okay.
I think they were surprised by the popularity,
Yeah.
and so they needed to kind of retool and re-equip and maybe staff up a little bit. But it looks like it's there to stay. And I personally, I'm surprised it took this long because that trail is so busy.
I know.
And having this kind of amenity pop up along the river is great.
I wish the whole trail had like periodic spots where you could stop and get stuff. That would be so cool.
Yeah, my dream is one day when they, I'd be sad to see them go. I will be sad to see them go. But when the orange trolleys, the PCC trolleys, are offline someday, it'd be great to position one of them
all along. That'd be so cool.
Well, there's like at the Milton stop, there's a
Yeah.
perfect space there, and you could probably do a pretty good trade there with whatever ice cream or seasonal stuff even, but those should be reused and not put out to pasture entirely.
Definitely. It's too bad Cassie didn't come in today to talk about this. I guess she was probably really intimidated by me with the Sabres, and she didn't want to, because she's a Bruins fan.
She's a big Bruins fan, and she knows her stuff.
I wouldn't have come if I were her either, so understood,
she's
Cassie.
coming back, so you better watch out, and she will be wearing black and gold, no doubt.
She might be crying. All right, let's wrap up. What did you do for the marathon? Did you go down there?
I didn't go to the marathon. I was working.
It was so cold.
I looked kind of chilly. I wanted to go to the Red Sox game that morning, but it was I had to be at the office. Marathon Mondays are usually a busy day for us, but it was a busy day to cover some news too, because we had three of our neighbors. I mean, there were many Dorchester people on the course, of course, but three in particular that we highlighted because they're special people. Bill and Denise Richard.
My neighbors.
Your neighbors, yeah. And Bill has run the marathon before, but this was Denise's first time participating in the marathon. They were support runners, but they were badged, and they had the bibs, and it counts.
I should mention their history with the marathon.
Yeah, sure. They lost their son Martin in 2013 during the bombings while watching the marathon, obviously, and their daughter Jane was injured badly. They were all injured in various ways, but. Look, it's a lot of people who were there that day have told me they haven't been able to go back, to Boylston Street or, first responders in particular, people who went through that experience, and they marvel at how the Richard family is able to not only be there but be like active participants, and every year rooting on runners if they're not participating themselves. Bill's run it, I think a couple of times now, and Henry Richard, their son. Early 20s, maybe 22 or so, has run it a number of times now. He's run 12 marathons in total at different cities, but he ran it again on Monday.
Nice.
And they were doing this, Bill and Denise were doing this in support of another foundation, not even their own.
Oh, really?
This is how amazing these folks are. I mean, they have their own foundation. They're building a facility here across the street from us right now, but they can also take time to help other people who are also raising money through the marathon.
Yeah.
They were helping a friend of theirs who has a spinal cord injury, who's a remarkable story all on his own, and he uses crutches to navigate the course. And they're there to help him do that. So they've raised a lot of money already for his efforts. I think Denise has raised over $65,000 just this year. It's the Thomas E. Smith Foundation.
Okay.
And they're still raising money for it. So if you go to .news.com or you just go online, Google Thomas E. Smith Foundation and Denise Richard, that'd be a great thing if you're still looking to help out. They have a huge impact.
And they've done so much with Martin's legacy, and just the amount of impact they've been able to have and turn that tragedy into something positive is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I'm looking at a picture of Denise smiling out, having just finished the race, and I mean, it's great to see the joy that they bring, but that they experience by helping people.
Hey, speaking of the marathon, do you know about this bike thing?
I've heard something about that. It's like a midnight ride.
Yeah.
Or is it the day before? It's the day of the marathon, but like
12
before
a.m.
it starts.
Yeah, and they actually bike the route. I don't know if it's for something, but
we got to find out more about that for next year.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Would you rather bike or run the route?
No question, bike. I mean, that'd be hard enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't. I'm sure I could walk it maybe, but I'd rather bike it.
I've never heard anyone run the marathon and be like, that was fantastic. They literally say it was terrible.
I did the Dot Day 5K 2 years ago, and I'm still recovering from that. So I'll take the bike, thanks.
What's up this weekend? You got anything fun?
We'll see. I've got some work on our plate, but it should be if it's nice weather. I'm looking forward to being out in the yard and getting some things done. Do some spring cleaning.
You got a fresh yard, so
I do. We have some new grass. I'm excited about that.
Go lay in your grass. And
but next week, just a quick teaser on the Dorchester Reporter side. Cassidy McNeely has a really great interview with Patrick Radden Keefe, who you may know is an author. He's a writer with the New Yorker, best-selling New York Times bestseller at the moment. He's in the top 5 at least of nonfiction. His new book, I believe, is called London is Falling.
Okay.
And he's obviously well known for his work on the Sackler family.
Oh, right.
And also for his book called Say Nothing, which is about the Troubles in Northern Ireland. Patrick's an amazing writer. He was at Just Bookish here in Dorchester this week signing books of his latest work. And she has a sit-down interview with him, which is really fun.
Very cool.
Dorchester guy, native. His parents, he was raised in the Ashmont, Adams area.
Okay.
Used to be in the choir at All Saints Church.
Nice.
Lots of great little nuggets about his Dorchester experience. But he's another reason to be proud to be from here. He's really one of the world's at the moment top nonfiction writers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Maybe she can come on and talk about it.
I'd love for her to do that. And I really want her back here to, go, toe-to-toe with you and your jerseys.
Well, by this time next week, it'll be a whole different situation.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We will know some outcomes by then.
Well, good luck to the Celts. And,
thank you. Anyone else you want to root for?
I don't know, but do you want to return my sentiment nicely to me?
I mean, yeah, good luck, I guess.
Thanks.
I hope you guys lose tonight, but...
Well,
I'd like for it to go 7 so that Cassidy and you can really chop it up.
If we could win Sunday while I'm there, I'd be pretty happy.
All right, I might give you that one. And I'm also hoping the Red Sox pull one out against the Yankees, but yeah, I'm going to put most of my apples in the Celtics cart
bucket.
For sure.
Cool. All right, well, have a nice weekend. We'll see you next week.
You too.
Thanks, Bill. .Life is sponsored in part by the Dorchester Reporter, Dorchester's own community newspaper and online home for all things Dorchester at .news.com. The Reporter, owned and operated by the Forry family, has been laser focused on Dorchester and the surrounding neighborhoods of Boston since 1983. That longevity and experience shows in its award-winning coverage every week. The Reporter is our go-to source for authentic stories about the people, places, and events that matter most to our daily lives. We are proud to partner with The Reporter and .News. And you can support the important journalism provided by The Reporter. Just go to .news.com to subscribe today. It's the best deal in town and helps keep our local community journalism alive and well. Welcome back to .Life. For today's conversation, we are talking about things that are relevant to both renters and homeowners here in the Dorchester area. And to that end, we've been joined by Leon Bethune, who is the Community Initiative Bureau Director at the Boston Public Health Commission. Hi, Leon.
Hello, good afternoon. I know that's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but I appreciate you coming in.
Yes.
So that whole mouthful, what do you all do?
Community Initiatives is a bureau that is one of the 6 bureaus at the Boston Public Health Commission. And our mission is basically to really harness the power of social determinants of health to drive meaningful change in the city of Boston. And by doing that, we have a bunch of different programs. We partner with city agencies, CBOs, anybody.
Sorry, what's a CBO?
It's a community-based organization.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. And so basically what the outcome is to make sure that Boston is a healthy, thriving city for our residents.
And this is really for your community-based initiative. Is this based around like the living environment, or is this in addition to like food and things like that?
It's everything.
Okay.
We do everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're like the bureau that we specialize in everything.
Okay.
Everything that's health.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you all work under Dr. Ojikutu,
Dr. Right,
who is
right.
a friend of the pod and has been on
Okay,
a couple of
okay,
times
cool,
now.
cool,
So
cool.
thanks for joining
Yeah.
us. I want to talk first about you. You started right out of college in this department, right? And you've made your way up to running it.
No, I started out of grad school. So
Okay.
when I my whole career track was kind of weird. I worked in consultant, doing environmental consulting for several years, and then I went back to school and got my master's in public health
Okay.
and environmental health. And so the cool thing was when I was done, I wanted to get out of consulting because I saw myself as and the work I did was more like, protecting people that polluted,
Oh.
the environment.
don't love that.
Right, exactly. Right. So what I wanted to do was actually get back to the community and do some community work. And basically, I remember, it's kind of funny story. I saw a job for a toxicologist at the Boston Public Health Commission at the time, and I walked in with my resume and I said, "Hey, is this job still available?"
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, the director of the environmental health office said, "Nope, we don't have any. We just hired somebody."
Okay.
And then I said, "Okay, well," but he looked at my resume. And he's like, "Wow, you did some really cool work. We
Yeah.
can use somebody like you. We'll keep your resume on file." And then 2 days later, he calls me back and he's like,
We need you.
He's like, come in for an interview. So I interviewed, and that's
great.
That's how it all started.
And are you from Boston originally? Was this all in Boston?
No, I'm not. I grew up in South America.
Okay.
And came up here for school,
Okay.
and just never left.
What part of South America?
Guyana, South
nice.
America.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. Right below
Temperature's
Venezuela.
a little different here.
Yeah, it's hot and humid
Yeah.
every day there.
Yeah.
And so it was weird to get used to the cold. Yeah.
But you're used to it.
But
now.
used to it, yeah.
So was there anything from that early, as you grew up through the department, anything that you kind of took lessons or things that you learned working with people that you still apply to your job today in this director role?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that is to, if you're going to do this work 8 hours a day, have a little bit of fun, right? and two, make sure the constituents come first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the constituents a little bit.
All right.
Let's talk about, we'll start with a little more understanding of the work that you and your team do. So
Sure.
what, how does the team and how do you interact with residents on a daily basis, and how do you understand what their needs are?
So we collect a lot of data on social determinants of health. So, we're looking at, health outcomes. We're looking at, place, where people live. We're looking at, a whole bunch of different, parameters on just, based on the neighborhoods and everything else, and because basically that's how we set up our programs.
And that's how funding is allocated?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Yep.
And so there's, 3 divisions and 2 programs. And so the 3 divisions, one is environmental health. The other one is healthy homes and community supports and chronic disease. And then the 2 programs is we have the Mayor's Health Line, which people can call, all the time and get tons of information and services, and they do a lot of but majority of their work is based on health access, so getting people health insurance, benefits, SNAP benefits, stuff like that. And then we have the South End Fitness, which is a gym, which is kind of weird.
Oh wow!
Yeah. It's one of the cheapest gyms in town.
Okay.
$350 a year, and
that is cheap.
Yeah. And you get a pool, and we have a ton of gym equipment.
Sauna.
No sauna.
No
sauna. No sauna.
Put that on the list.
Yeah, exactly, right. For doing renovations, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
So for the purposes of this conversation, we're going to focus mostly on housing.
Sure.
What are some of the most common housing-related issues that come up for your team?
I have a team, and I'll pretty much focus on our environmental health division. So, we have a team of about 10 people, and one of the things they do is, they do a couple things. They pretty much, inspect for any environmental hazards.
Okay.
And they also permit 11 different businesses. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're pretty busy. And
10 people for the whole city.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, it's not a lot of people for a big area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're pretty efficient.
That's good.
Yeah. They're pretty efficient. We try to if we get a complaint, we're out there within 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say they do an environmental inspection, what are they looking for? Is it things like asbestos and hazardous materials?
Yeah. So I mean, so we inspect for environmental hazards, in private residence, in public buildings, workspace, outdoor space, and like I said, in addition to permitting 11 different businesses. And when people ask, what are the most common related, inspections we see across Boston, it's mold, it's rodent infestation is one, lead paint. We do a lot of poor indoor air quality inspections. So people would say, hey, I don't feel well in my house. I think I'm being exposed to, something.
Okay.
And we actually have, monitors that we can actually come in and do an indoor air quality for you,
Is that going to be things is it like a radon, or what is the air quality?
So what we're looking for is any chemical hazards. We're looking for
if something is off-gassing in your home?
Exactly. Yeah. And what we find too is a lot of people buy these air fresheners in their home.
Oh.
Right. And and they don't realize that they're loaded with a ton of chemicals, right? And so they're sitting there gassing themselves every day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so we try to educate people on how to live in an indoor space, because we spend 90% of our time there.
Right.
Yeah.
So are these people calling you? How do they get to the point where they're saying, I might need a home inspection? Is it they went to the doctor and the doctor's like, you may have an environmental exposure?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times it's we do get the doctors, but then it's referrals from 311, or we'll get referrals from the Inspectional Services Department, because they went out there for another issue and somebody complained about something else, and so
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So with things if let's say you detect lead in the paint, this is not lead pipes, right? You're not doing underground.
Right.
Okay.
So we do look for lead. Yeah, we do look for lead pipes. Yes, exactly. And we partner with the Boston Water and Sewer. So if we find a lead pipe in your house, Boston Water and Sewer has a really good program to actually remove the lead pipes.
Okay.
So yeah.
And this is in the home, not just the ones going to the street.
Yeah. No, this is not in the home. This is the one that's the water lines that are coming from the street to your home. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And I think there is, I don't know if this is part of your purview, but there is a lead pipe map that you can look up and see if your home is affected.
You can go to Boston Water and Sewer and look at their lead. It's their lead map, and you can see if your house has lead pipe coming in from the street. They've been updating those maps, so they're getting a lot more accurate. Because when I started, they weren't. So So what they do now is like every time they go change your meter, your water meter, because I think they do it every like 7 years or something like that.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but
test.
they will test to see if you have a lead line.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so let's say somebody calls you in for a lead paint test and you find it.
Yes.
Do you offer mitigation options? Or
yes. So one thing about lead. So the lead, we enforce the lead law. All our inspectors are lead inspectors. So if we go out and majority of the complaints we get is a resident has a child under 6. The landlord didn't disclose that there was lead paint there, and they're concerned about it, or even better yet, they went to their pediatrician. The pediatrician is finding, the kid has a elevated level.
Okay.
And then, they'll call us and say, hey, can you come in and look at our, lead paint? And then we'll go in and do an inspection.
So it's different, I guess, when it's a homeowner versus a renter, right? Because if the renter is exposed to lead paint, they didn't know it, the landlord it's on them to fix it, right?
That's why we tell landlords, if you're going to get in this business, make sure you especially if your house is built before 1978 when lead paint was because it was banned in 78. We tell landlords to make sure that you,
because you're on the hook for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What about other things like asbestos or mold? I mean, mold, I guess you can get rid of.
Yeah, I mean,
asbestos is a big deal.
Asbestos is a huge deal. I mean, usually you'll find it on the old boilers, in a home. So we tell people, and on the pipes in the basement that
and the tiles,
and the
right?
heat that you can find in the tiles.
Floor tiles, yeah.
Floor tiles. You can find it on the vinyl siding, the asbestos siding on a home.
Okay.
So we tell people that it's not illegal to have asbestos, but it has to be intact, which means that
Not
it has
crumbling.
to be crumbling. Yes, it doesn't be. Yeah, it can't be crumbling. It has to be like perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So these things like mold and asbestos and lead, what are some signs early warning signs maybe that people should think about getting an inspection?
Yeah, I mean, we tell people, especially before you sign a lease, as a renter, just do a walkthrough.
Okay.
In
Boston, who has that luxury? You got to sign before it goes.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that later. Yeah. I mean, we suggest that you take a walkthrough of the apartment before you sign a lease, because you want to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
And I usually tell people, as soon as you walk through the door and you give it the old smell test. If it smells like mold and mildew, then there's some issues, right? And usually that comes from like a leaky roof. Maybe there's water coming through the side of the house, or
it could be in the walls, right?
Everything, right? Exactly,
what
right?
A mess.
Yeah, and also look for rodent infestations, and you can easily look at those. And I usually tell people, look in the floor, look in the cracks of the floor, and and if you see the rodent droppings, you have it, right? Yeah. Same thing with cockroaches too, right? So, so we try to educate people to know what their environment and what they're getting into, because once you sign that lease, then you're going to have then you have to deal with the landlord.
Yeah.
Right?
The landlord still has to deal with it, right? But it's just a fight. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, some landlords are better than others,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, I'm not going to throw landlords under the bus, because we have some good landlords.
Yeah.
But if you're not getting a lot of feedback from your landlord, that's a bad sign right there. Yeah. Yeah.
What about, of the ones that you've mentioned, are there any that are particularly pervasive or difficult to get rid of, maybe that people don't think about as being such a problem until they have to deal with it?
Well, I mean, anything you can get rid of.
They all stink, though. They're all bad.
What we do tell people, though, is that, don't, give us a call, 617, 534-5965, and ask the question, right?
Okay.
And the folks that we have there are very knowledgeable, and we can walk you through the process. The thing is, because even when we go out in these inspections, sometimes people will call us for one thing, and then we see other things, right?
I bet they love that.
Yeah. yeah. So yeah.
So these inspections, are they free for the caller? Or
Yep.
what? Okay.
Absolutely free. Your
Okay.
tax,
Yeah.
it's what your taxpayer
What we pay
money's
for.
paid
Yeah,
for. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
for renters or homeowners.
Homeowners and renters, right?
Okay.
Right.
So let's just say, I don't know if this is something you would feel, qualified to comment on, but let's say you find something in your rented space. What do you do if your landlord isn't like acknowledging it or fixing it, or they say they're going to fix it but they don't? Is there another recourse?
Listen, talk to your landlord first, right?
Yeah.
Because once you bring us in, it becomes adversarial, right?
You're like getting documentation.
Yeah, exactly, right. So document it yourself. Take pictures. Text, email. Document the issue.
Yep.
And see if your landlord would fix it.
Okay.
If you refuse, give us a call.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know there's other resources within the city to help with landlord disputes and things that people can. Yeah. So maybe 311 at that point is
311, and the Office of Fair Housing.
Okay.
Is another good resource to reach out to. Yeah.
And I think there's one, Vita Urbana. I don't know if you're familiar with them in JP.
Yep.
They're great group. I've heard a lot of good things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little about scams, because there are some scams out there.
Yeah. It's funny because I don't deal with scams, but I know from the days when so one thing I did was when I was in college, I used to I have my real estate license, so I did rentals. So I kind of remember some of the stuff that went on. Yeah. And it's probably still pretty. It's still pretty pervasive. And
do you guys deal with the scam aftermath too? Like somebody's come in and tried fix something, and then it's a mess, or what are these scams?
As a renter, there's always the scam of you're looking for an apartment, and you see an ad. And it might, maybe on Zillow, it might not be it might not even be, the right ad. It might be something else.
Like the picture doesn't match the address.
All that stuff. That's why we tell people before you sign a lease, make sure you do a walkthrough, right? Yeah. So, these are the little common sense things that people overlook. Yeah. So, you do get a lot of, folks that will do that bait and switch stuff, The other scam is if the rent is too good to be true, it probably, it's probably a scam,
In Boston, that means if it feels affordable, it's probably not true.
Not. Folks with that have low credit scores get scammed all the time, and that's a population that's so if that's happening, there's always call 311, and they'll get you in touch with fair housing or the office of the mayor's office of housing.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's one that I've heard of, and I think I've actually had someone come to my house for this. I have a single family home owner. You could use a driveway repave, or you could use a chimney repointing. Yeah. They smell like scams. Are they scams?
Totally scams. Yeah, totally scams. If there's.
I could use a driveway repave, to be honest, but
and a lot of those guys, what they do is you can do it yourself. Is go out and buy it's called tar, and you can buy it at Home Depot, and that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna come and just retar your driveway and charge you an arm and leg for it. Yeah, yeah. Because for to really get your driveway redone, it's a process, and so don't fall for that.
Yeah. I've heard too on the chimney one that they'll do the work poorly and then they're gone. They're a fly by night, and then you're stuck. And you have to redo it, and it costs you a fortune.
And there's companies that actually do this in Boston that have been around for a long time. So just do your research before somebody because they'll come and say, well, your neighbor down the street and your neighbor across the way, they're all getting their driveway done. Can we do yours? Yep. And so just make sure you do your due diligence and make sure it's a legitimate person that's going to keep, do the work for you, because you're going to spend a lot of money, and you don't want that just to, to go out the door.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I feel like a good rule of thumb too is checking someone's ID if they come in unsolicited.
Right.
Like definitely,
Right.
I've had like the meter guy from National Grid. I'm like, are you sure you're the meter guy from
Yeah.
National Grid? So just like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing with us. Like all our inspectors, they all have badges.
Yeah.
So you could,
Yeah.
if someone comes to your door and said they're a health inspector, make sure you look at their badges.
especially if you're not expecting them.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can always call, the 311, or you can call our office at,
Verify.
And verify.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about the free home inspections. Well, how would that actually work? So you said they call up and ask for one, and then is it like a set appointment, or is it one of those we'll be there from like 10 to 7 on any of these one given days, and if you ever leave, you'll miss us? Okay.
No, so we understand that, people work,
Yeah.
and, they have jobs. So we'll try to accommodate you
Okay.
as much as possible. Usually we would like it to be between 9 and 5.
Yeah.
But if it's a special circumstances, we'll come out
Okay.
after 5. But between 9 and 5, and you schedule with the scheduler, and we'll have somebody. So usually what happens, you'll call,
Yeah.
right, and we'll say, okay, we'll log your complaint, we'll put it in the system, and when the inspectors will call you to set up an appointment based
Okay.
on a mutual time that you both can meet.
And how long does that, like, what's the lead time on that typically?
Usually within 24 hours, unless
Really?
unless we're like super super busy.
Okay.
We'll come out right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they come in, they do a walkthrough of the.
Yep. So say you called and said, all right, I think I have mold in my house. We'll come out, we'll do a walkthrough, look around, and we'll ask you to identify where you think the mold is, and we'll look and see where it is, and we'll also look at the structure. If there's a structural issue with with your home.
Okay.
And we'll give you an assessment of what that is, and so if you're a renter, right, we would we would basically say, okay, we found the issue, and it's usually always about something leaking or something that's creating a damp
Seepage,
environment for mold.
Yeah.
Because the thing about mold, and people don't understand, is mold is everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And all it needs is a good substrate to grow on, and the right temperature and water, right? So
Yeah.
and the thing about it is we found that people have been really frustrated about before calling us, and they would go out and get a mold test,
Okay.
right? And the thing about mold test is
It's always going to be positive.
well, yes, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And also there's no way for us to interpret it, and on top of that, there's no standard.
Oh, got it.
There's no
Okay.
standard for testing mold.
Yeah.
So there's nothing we can do with that except say, oh, this is great. You have mold.
Right.
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 Yeah.
I think I've heard you can, if you want to do like a sourdough starter, you can like can some air and let it sit with the right conditions, and because there's mold in the
it,
air,
yeah,
it will
yeah.
actually start sourdough starter.
Yeah, I've heard.
Never tried it.
I've never tried. Yeah. I'm not a big bread maker, so
Only during pandemics. So they do they come in, they do the testing. So do they have to sometimes come back? Like, do they have to leave?
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll take pictures. We'll we'll document everything, and then we'll send a notice of violation to the landlord, right?
Okay.
And say, hey, you got 30 days to fix this issue, fix the structural issue, everything else.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll say, oh yeah, we got to leak your roof. We're working on it, blah blah blah, all this stuff, and then we'll tell them, well,
Work on it faster.
we know you have a leaky roof, but also that the walls in the apartment also needs to be taken down. So
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
because you want to remove, especially sheetrock. You can't just, like a lot of landlords will just paint it over.
Yeah.
And then the mold will come back.
Well, if you use it, kills, right? It traps it. Yeah,
Exactly.
no.
Right. Yeah. You want to cut out where the mold is to get rid of it, and it's easy to repatch it.
Right. But it's so
especially-
porous that you can't just bleach it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So are there any other, we talked about like renters being aware of their rights and things, but is there anything else you would add to both that question and things that renters and homeowners can be more, proactive about in terms of both safety and maybe cost savings?
Like I said, know your rights.
Yeah.
As a renter, know your limitations are. If you need to access any, assistance, always call the Office of, Housing Stability. Which
Boston's a pretty renter-friendly state.
Exactly, we are. Well,
Yeah.
Massachusetts is.
Massachusetts.
For a homeowner, make sure you get like some of those healthy upgrades. Make sure that you're looking at your lead paint because you can't discriminate against a family that's going to come into that's going to want to rent from you.
And it's mostly kids that are susceptible to lead paint.
Yeah. When you're a homeowner and you want to bring your home into compliance, there's two ways you could do it. You could pay for it, and if you're handy, you take a course, and then you can learn how to do it yourself.
Okay.
And get a certificate.
What about other like weatherproofing things or anything? I don't know how much you guys do that.
No, usually what we'll do is we'll send folks to Mass Energy Saver program down in Boston, and usually they can hook you up with like Mass Save and solar panels. Get you the new thing that folks are getting now are these mini splits for air conditioning, stuff like that. Yeah,
heat pumps.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
and they'll do even like insulation for you and everything, right?
Yeah, I've had the insulation done by the Mass Save, and it's actually pretty reasonable. And the other thing is too, we want people to do like real community advocacy, like when there's like support zoning reforms, right? Yeah. Because as in Boston, we're trying to get as much housing built, for folks because it's just so expensive, right?
Right.
So do that, and also participate in like the development reviews that are around.
Okay. Civic association meetings, things like that.
Right. Yep. Try not to stop them.
Unless they need to be stopped.
Unless they need to be stopped, right? Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, we want safe housing projects,
thoughtful development.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
We can agree on
that. Right.
I would imagine that it's not uncommon for your team to make people unhappy.
Yes, we. Well, I mean, it depends, right? So
I'm sure you're delightful.
It costs people money.
Yeah.
And when you cost people to spend money, but then again, a lot of the stuff that we do find, it's legit that you should.
I mean, it's also a thing where like, hey, I think I have mold, and you come in and say you have mold and rodents.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And and that's the thing is like people understand like you don't you're obligated to take care of your house.
Yeah.
It's part of your business. You just can't like just take the money and
right.
And also mold. You have enough of it, it can make people sick. So, same thing with rodents, so it's like we want you to take care of your home, and also, homeworks, the city has some programs, the Office of Housing, call them, and they give out grants and stuff to help homeowners, get their home up to speed.
So, given that sometimes maybe people are a little depressed when you visit them, how do you find that fun in your work that you mentioned earlier?
It's not. Well, I mean, I think for us the landlord's probably the one who's going to be depressed about it, right?
I mean, if you got to get your walls cut out and repatched, that's not very convenient for the tenant either.
It's not, but the way we look at it is like we're saving your life in the long run, right? So yeah.
So you find the joy in the helping.
Exactly. Yeah.
So why does this all matter? Like me having a healthy home, you having a healthy home. Why does that matter from like a community perspective?
Having a healthy home is all part of public health, right? So it's part of like making sure that, once you have a healthy home, your mental health is, healthy. Yeah. Your physical health is healthy. The inspection service department, every landlord should. They have a rental registration and inspection program. So, and it's I think it's an ordinance where if you're renting your property, you need to register your apartment or residence with them.
I think what you said about mental health is important because like your home is meant to be the place where you can like feel safe and unwind and have a sanctuary. And when you don't have that, you show up in the world worse.
Right.
And
right.
that just affects everyone around you worse. So it's really important to community to have that space. How do you think proactive residents can approach like keeping their homes, their rental spaces healthy?
So I tell people it's like a two-way street, right? Because if you live like an animal, I mean, it's I mean, you're damaging people, your rental space or the way you live, that can affect other things too, right?
So we talked about mental effects, but you also mentioned physical effects of this, of being safe at home. I feel like it compounds, right? Like if you ignore this stuff, what happens?
Yes, I mean, like, one of the things is like, especially when it comes to lead paint, right?
Yeah.
So there's, lead paint for children, it's irreversible damage to them, right?
Yeah. So
you want to make sure that, that gets taken care of, right? So
and that's like physical, cognitive, everything.
So that's why, we do have a lead program at the Boston Public Health Commission, and we enforce the lead law, right? There's the cost, right? There's the mental cost, there's a physical cost, the healthcare costs, and so those sort of things is the big driver of making sure that you take care of your environment.
It's almost preventive, right? Like, I mean, imagine you're sitting there breathing in mold all the time. What is it doing to your lungs? And in 10 years, what are you spending on your lungs now? So,
One of the biggest elephants that I found in the room.
You found an elephant in a Boston house?
Oh, yeah, in a Boston house, yeah. I mean, that people reluctant to talk about is actually gas stoves.
I am reluctant to talk about gas stoves, too.
Gas stove emit,
they're not good.
They're not good, right? So, if you do have one, we suggest that you have a hood, and you always use the hood, and you ventilate, right?
And you don't stand over the burner while it's on.
Exactly. You're spending 90% of your time in your home, and you're, using a gas stove. It emits, carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
Carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, which is a definitely asthmagen. So if you don't have a hood that ventilates to the outside, make sure you open all the windows.
Okay.
Maybe use an air purifier, that sort of stuff, and you can also get an induction stove.
Okay.
Which,
those flat top.
And it's electric, but, from the folks that I know that cook say that it works perfect.
I've heard good things.
Yeah. If you call Boston Energy Saver, we have it's called Boston Energy Saver program, and their number is 617-635-SAVE.
Okay.
And they have a ton of rebates
nice.
if you're looking at upgrading.
Okay.
Yeah. We want you to always constantly check your home, to make sure that it's habitable, right? And what does that mean, right? It means that the bathrooms work, the kitchen work,
you're cleaning up after yourself.
You're taking care of your garbage, which is huge for rodents. That's one thing that people overlook. And all your doors and locks work. So it's the minimum standards of living. Be neighborly, right?
Yeah, right.
Right. What's going on in this world? It's like, be neighborly, help your neighbor.
Well, thank you so much, Leon. I appreciate this conversation.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Go home and look at my basement. Hey, everybody. We are back for today's Tiny Dot concert, and joining me is Flash Lato. Hi, Flash.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Can I call you Flash?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You call me Flash or Lotto. It don't matter.
Or Flash Lato.
Yeah.
Okay,
both,
cool.
Yeah.
A lot of options there.
Yeah.
Flash is here from JP today, but you said you grew up in Dorchester.
Yep, exactly.
What part of Dorchester?
I grew up around Common Square area, around them areas.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Westie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
West Roxbury.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's unusual.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. From Dorchester?
Why did you want to say that? It's like, what's supposed to go to Dorchester High?
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, I'm glad I was placed in Westie. It's like
it's a long bus ride.
Kind of like it is.
Yeah.
And if you missed it, it was a long walk.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
But you liked it?
Yeah, I loved it. It like basically made me who I am today.
Yeah.
It like created my path for my life. You know what I'm saying?
How'd you end up in JP? You're in a good part of JP. I love JP in general, but like that Pondside area is amazing.
Yeah. Just opportunity came and I had a chance to move to JP.
Nice.
So yeah.
When did you start performing?
When I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started like when I was a kid, like in the school choirs and stuff like that. And then as I got older, I continued doing music.
And you started getting into, is it rap, hip hop?
Yeah. But before that, I was in a singing group,
Okay.
a cappella singing group
Okay.
for about 8 years.
What part were you?
I was a tenor.
Okay.
Tenor, or sometimes I can sing soprano too.
Really?
Yeah, I can get up there.
Will we hear you sing soprano today?
I can sing, but I don't know about soprano.
So, when did you start like publishing albums and getting out there?
I would say, I'm not exactly sure of the year, but
Like pre-COVID, post-COVID?
uh,
Do you remember COVID?
before COVID, like way before COVID,
Okay.
you know. But it was like a learning experience, you know what I'm saying? Like just how to drop music and what not to do, what to do, stuff like that. So, but I've always been dropping music.
Okay.
know? I didn't start like on all major platforms, but I did start on like SoundCloud or like YouTube, you know.
Yeah.
And then I made my way to the big leagues, you know, Apple Music, Spotify, all that.
And where would you say you've like found your inspiration? Who inspires you?
I mean, I'm inspired by a lot of artists, you know.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to know?
Yeah.
My inspirations. Growing up, I listened to Michael Jackson a lot, you know, 50 Cent, Chris Brown.
Okay.
Going into the rap, I started listening to Soulja Boy and like watching him as like a business acumen in the music industry. You know, I was inspired by that, and you know, so that's where I get my inspiration from.
Nice.
And like
okay.
it changes throughout times. You know what I'm saying? Like I see something that I like in an artist that I'm inspired by, like fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like it changes throughout the time.
What else do you do for creative outlet?
Like I write my own music.
Okay.
You know, I write my own music. I wish I knew how to like make beats and stuff like that, but I don't know how to do all that. Or sometimes like I'll play with like GarageBand or like try to like mix my own music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But
so where do you find inspiration for your writing? And how prolific are you? Do you write a lot?
Yeah, I write a lot. Like I pretty much write every day.
Wow.
But basically like I write about like what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? I write about like subconsciously what I'm, you know, like not like it might be something old that like I never wrote about it, but it comes up in my music. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do you write things down just to get them out and then turn them into music, or do you write them down thinking they're going to become lyrics?
I write it down like as I go, like
okay,
like but like I'm listening to a beat. Like
Yeah.
I don't just write, you know, like I have to have a beat that I'm listening to, and like depending on the beat, that's also where I get my inspiration too. It's like the vibe. If it's like it just depends on the vibe of the beat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like if it's like a sad song or a happy song, it's like it depends on the beat.
yeah.
That's what I'll write about.
Well, you have a new album.
Yeah, I do.
What's it
I
called?
do. It's called Another Run.
Okay.
Another Run. It's out now, all platforms. You know what I'm saying?
What's on?
I got some. Let me show y'all. Y'all can check it out. You know what I'm saying? Another Run.
Very nice.
This is for you.
There's a QR code on there. Yeah.
Yep.
So what's the vibe of Another Run? Like, what's the message?
Basically, like I've been doing music for like a long time, and I I thought it was time to drop a mixtape, and you know what I'm saying. So, I felt like it was time for another run.
Okay.
And like I was just in the studio one day. I did this song, NASCAR. That's on the track on my tape, and like I just felt like the vibe just gave me like, oh, like I'm back again. Like
nice.
I'm on another run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what ties into my mixtape, another run.
Amazing.
But,
do you do collabs or anything?
Yeah, I do collabs. I don't collab with a lot of artists, but I have like a couple artists that I usually work with. Yeah.
Nice. I know that I think we found you through Hakeem, who's been on the podcast before and has played at Dorchester many years. So he's a good friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
And you did some work with him.
Yeah, we used to be in the same music group. We used to
Nice.
sing together for like 8 years.
Okay.
You know, so shout out Hakeem. You know what I'm saying? It's my brother.
Where can people find your music?
You can find me on all platforms. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, Tidal. What else is there? Snapchat, TikTok. You can Google me. That's where you can find me. But make sure you spell my name right.
Lato.
Yes,
Flash
Lato. Everyone spells it wrong.
They spell it like lottery. Lato.
Maybe I see Latto or Lotto. Like,
can see that.
Come on, man. Spell my name right.
What about if they want to catch you live?
Follow me on Instagram.
Okay.
That's where I post like my my upcoming shows or like, you know, stuff that I'm doing. At Flash_Lato. Flash_Lato. That way.
All right, well, let's hear you.
Let's get into it. What's good? It's your boy Flash Lato. Shout out Dot Life. We teed up today, man. I got a couple songs for y'all I'm about to perform. This first song I'm about to do is called Tyler Perry. Let's get it. Hey, hey, kill the pussy like Tombstone. Way she give me head every time, got my mind blown. Racing to the money, fuck bitches, I got 2 phones. Dread-headed nigga, I might go back to two-tone. Exotic in my blunt, east side, it's a bad bitch. Standing in the club on the couch, it's a habit. I was down bad, I was broke, I ain't have shit. Life's been a movie, Tyler Perry, I ain't casting. I just speak my mind in the booth, I ain't rapping. Why you keep on going off the scene? I've been stacking, drippy down, dust up on my toe, watch the fabric, chain on, and I got the fire like a dragon. Penthouse, we on top floor, jock going down, brown skin thing, about to put me up another round. I'm in VA, she could tell I'm from out of town. Let me hit the bank, walked in smelling like a pound. New money like the smell of it. I might blow a bag on her if she sell a bit. Whole lot of drip in the closet like them skeletons. Let me lay the smack down on you like the Bella twins. Check the forecast, think it's wet. I'm the weatherman. Shots fired, they spinning on the block like a ceiling fan. Can't turn down, I'm turned up and I don't need no helping hand. Went and bought a whip when I ran up my first band. Hey, kill a pussy like Tombstone. Wish she give me head every time, got my mind blown. Racing to the money, fuck bitches, I got 2 phones. Dread-headed nigga, I might go back to two-tone. Exotic in my blunt, east side, it's a bad bitch. Standing in the club on the couch, it's a habit. I was down bad, I was broke, I ain't have shit. Life's been a movie, Tyler Perry, I ain't casting. Let's get into Sundown.
No words, no lies. I see it in your eyes. Why must you break my heart again?
Hey, long nights waking up bent. In the club I spent my rent. I done really went down a sense. Why this life it made no sense. Why this bitch fuck around and chose. I done told her my heart froze. In LA I'm buying clothes. About to link up one of my hoes. Down Julio in my cup. I done did some filthy stuff. Why this life it give me a rush. I done bust down one of my crush. You my brother, you know I'm a crutch. Through that struggle it's making me tough. I been shitting, I think I'm a flush. Running bands if you know that's a must. Flash Lato, I'm coming, remember the name. They was sleeping, now I'm charging. I'm making them pay, I'm Stevie Wonder. When it comes to bargains, I can fuck your bitch and take her home and make her lead this party. I'd rather lie than lose you, girl, I feel like Playboy Cardi. If I lose my bitch, I just might crash out and act retarded. New niggas got me paranoid, I'm feeling like a target. Can't see these niggas in these Prada shades, yours from Target. I went from sitting down on them bleachers, now I'm ballin'.
No words, no lies. I see it in your eyes.
Long nights waking up in a club I spent my rent. How it really went down the sense. Why this life it made no sense. Why this bitch fuck around and chose. I done told him my heart froze. In LA I'm buying clothes by the link of one of my hoes. Yo, it's your boy Flash Lato. We about to do a freestyle right now. Let's get into it.
Hey, that's cool. Look it up.
Hey, Flash Lato. Hey. I ain't tripping over shit unless I'm hopping on a plane. I done came a long way, I had to let them know my pain. I done walked up in this bitch and everybody knew my name. I'm just rapping for the paper, I ain't do it for the fame. Why they try to count me out, I told them niggas count again. I'm just balling on these niggas, I'm just going for the win. I ain't from the ATL, but I call my brody twin. I done lost a lot of niggas that I really thought was friends. I been smoking on gelato, you can smell it on my clothes. They ain't want me in the bank, had them covering their nose. I was walking in this bitch, got me feeling like I'm Future. I can sing a bitch right out of her drawers, call me Luther. I can pull up in a Chevy or a foreign, it ain't none. She gon' fuck me when she see me, baby. First you gotta suck, baby. Pop that pussy for me. I just wanna see you bust. No, yeah. Flash Lato. That was a little quick freestyle for y'all. 2026, we going crazy. Let's go. This next song we about to get into is called Prayer. It's on my album that I just dropped, Another Run, which is out on all platforms. Let's get into it. Here we go again. Flash Lato. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. Yeah. Can't stop the tears from falling. Girl, you know that I miss you. Feel the dampness in my hand when I ball up the tissue. We was balling on the court, baby girl, I was with you. When you met your quote-on friend and the shit came an issue. You was sneaking all around, playing innocent. Living in my head free, you ain't pay the rent. Ain't gon' lie, I ain't really been heaven sent. Used to go through granny purse for her peppermints. Rest in peace, ma. I think about you every day. Never thought this be the year that I would see you go away. This a letter to you too, but I'm just really trying to pray. Dark clouds in my city, every day it's looking gray. Feeling like 50, I'm the man in my state. Need the money and the power, everything gon' fall in place. While I'm even in this party, I'm just really trying to skate. Ever since you left me, I ain't really trying to date. Staying off the internet, I'm sick of all the hate. You ain't try to show me love, but when you did, knew it was fake. Could've lost it all, but when I didn't, it was faith. I'm putting God first, then you know it's blue faces. I'm counting up money, I ain't counting up cases. I'm sticking to the code and going back to the bases. Focus on the future, not the time that I wasted. Done fucking up the club and coming back home wasted. Real shit. Hey, yeah, Flash Lato. It's a prayer. Hey yo, one last thing. Thank you, .life. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you for listening to .life, which is available on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. .life is produced and edited by me, Aaron Caldwell. Technical and editing support are provided by Yasser Mahmoud. Additional support is provided by the Dorchester Reporter. Thanks to Leon Bethune, Bill Forry, Cassidy McNeely, and Flash Lato for joining this week's show. Thank you for listening, and we'd love it if you could share, subscribe, rate, and review the pod wherever you listen. If you're interested in supporting the podcast, visit .lifepod.com for more information. Go Sabres!